Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Friday. I hope all of you are doing good. Sorry I'm a little bit late, and shout out to all the people who watch on replay, because if you're watching this after it's live, I'm not late. But yeah, it thunderstormed again today, midday, and got me behind, and I was cutting grass right up till dark. But now I'm here with all of you, and it's good to see you guys. So I broke the story as far as I think YouTube's concerned. Look, I don't care if I broke it or not, but I got the video out pretty quickly when I found out that Serbia, we think of Zastava, we think of PPU, Belom, and others, was going to halt exports. And I put that video out yesterday. Now, I tried to be very, very careful when I was doing that video to not speculate too much, just try to present the facts. And that video was two-pronged. I'm like, let's talk about the fact that Serbia is going to be halting exports, and they gave reasons why. And if you guys haven't seen that video yet, I definitely suggest you check out the one that I did yesterday, Thursday, as well as today. But I just knew in the back of my mind, and it was hard for me to even say it with a straight face in that video yesterday when I said, for once, the United States isn't the one actually doing this as an import ban. They're only going to be banned from the U.S. because they're banned from export via Serbia. But man, it was hard for me to keep a straight face when I said, and the U.S. for once doesn't have anything to do with. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just watched my nose growing. But hey, I didn't know anything then, because I wasn't going to lie to you guys, because people are tired of always being fear-mongered on here. And I didn't put out either of those videos to fear-monger. It's like, this is what it is. And when I put out the video yesterday, it's like, it's either going to happen or it's not. But I think you guys should know. And then today it was confirmed. Yep, it happened. For how long, we don't know. But I have some guesses. And then there was the good old, but wait, there's more. Well, of course there's more, obviously. Somebody left a comment and said, I'm starting to wonder, with all these tyrannical countries throughout the world, this was someone who left a comment. They said, is the U.S. the most tyrannical country in the world? Now, the fact that I had to pause and sit there and think about that for a minute, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I hope not. I don't think so, but actually maybe. That's pretty sad. Who's someone who loves their country, but highly distrusts their government. I think you guys can agree with that. Love to all of you and all the good people in America and all the good forefathers, but really can't stand my government and don't trust it as far as I can throw it. And there's so much government, I couldn't even throw it at all. Not even a scintilla. But yeah, I had to think about that comment. It's like, well, wait a minute now. I was about ready to be like, this guy's just being negative. And I'm like, ooh, that's tough. I can't answer that. You guys can answer it if you want to in the chat or not. But here's the deal. It's already being reported, and I put that out in my video just a few hours ago. Make sure you watch that too if you haven't. That, yeah, the U.S. is now making some pretty bold accusations against one of the top government officials in Serbia, who just happens to be sympathetic to Putin, who just so happens to be, well, we think we know where our current former vice president is sympathetic to, whether it's Ukraine, ding, 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 or Russia. They said, Russia, Russia, Russia. Meanwhile, where's Hunter? He's on the board at Burisma. Knows nothing about natural gas, but of course he's a top chief executive board member there. Imagine that. China and others. Follow the money. Follow probably the most corrupt administration that this country, and maybe some say even the world, has ever known. Put all that together, and of course the United States government might have something to do with Serbia halting its exports. Now, the Serbian official government narrative is no, that's not the case. I'm sure if Zastava USA watches this stream, they're going to say, no, that's not the case. They're only protecting themselves from Kosovo. Or I could say so-called Kosovo, because that depends who you ask. According to Kosovo, it got its independence in 2008. According to many other Serbians, and I'm using air quotes because it's just so darn complicated over there, guys. I'm not a subject matter expert, but I know a thing or two about that region of the world. They say, no, we never granted your independence. You're still a province. Now, think about this. If Michigan were to secede from the Union, well, right now with its current leadership, it would be us seceding because we want to be more communist and more draconian than the rest of the country. But lots of good people in Michigan, so try to stay strong, guys. But it's a really, really crappy state to live in, and it's going to get a whole heck of a lot worse before hopefully it gets better. But imagine Michigan's going to secede from the Union, so then the U.S. has to stop selling arms in all 49 states it would be at that point, right? To just fight Michigan. Now, that might not be a perfect analogy, but geez, oh, Pete. The Serbian army is going to need every gun that Zastava makes. Let me go through this for a minute. We're going to talk more about this as the night goes on tonight. So this is what they're telling us right now. This is the official narrative. The Serbian government is going to need every gun that Zastava makes, which is their big ordnance factory. That's the factory that's making their small arms and other arms. But we're talking about small arms that are exported here to the U.S. or, well, used to be exported, allegedly not anymore. So they have to fight Kosovo, and I hope they don't have to. And there's many good people in Kosovo, many good people in Serbia. There's always good people in these countries, and it sucks that good people have to die due to evil, corrupt governments. And a lot of people fear that's going to be happening a lot again in the so-called Balkan region, former Yugoslavia. But you got Kosovo, and unless there's some big proxy war that's imminent, imagine that. Well, the U.S., it appears, is involved, so maybe you can imagine that. Now Serbia is going to need to stop selling M57 Tokarev pistols that they haven't issued to their military in decades and decades and decades. And like, no matter what, I can't foresee that happening. In fact, they surplused all that stuff starting decades ago. The last big imports coming in maybe 5 years ago. And just recently, still some like old M57 Yugo Tokarev is trickling in. No, I don't think so. I don't think they need to hoard up all of the Tokarev pistols, which we still really enjoy. And I have quite a large collection of those, and I really enjoy them. And I think 7.62 by 25 is a great round. But not many militaries, let's say no militaries, are going to be issuing or need to hoard up all of the 9-round single stack 7.62 by 25 pistols. And everybody knows that Serbia has pretty much gone over to exclusively NATO calibers for their military anyways, and has been for a long, long time, actually. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. As far as I know, they've switched over to the M90 and the M21, primarily chambered in 5.56 NATO as their frontline service rifles. So I don't know where their military would need to commandeer all of the 7.62 by 39 rifles when that hasn't been the frontline caliber for Serbia for, again, quite some time. Now, the argument to be made would be this, and this might be the right argument. I don't know. I'm just thinking about stuff here. You guys can think about it too. Maybe it's because, well, hold on, they're going to shut down production of all that stuff that they wouldn't issue to their troops, and they need all production lines going for just particular types of rifles. And that could be the case. But if war is imminent and they're getting ready to go into a hot war, that also costs tons of money. And with Zastava being government controlled, that would mean if the Zastava factory is making money, that's going to put more money back into the government. So it seems like they would welcome exporting firearms to the United States and other countries, because then they would be able to make the money that they need to fund their war machine. Right? I mean, stands to reason. You might need some money if you're getting ready to fight this big war with Kosovo. And I found out earlier today that, well, in fact, the United States has just sanctioned one of the top government officials from Serbia. Interesting. And they're accusing him of being, amongst other things, a drug dealer, many other nefarious crimes, as well as being an arms trafficker. It's weird. I'm just sitting here having deja vu. I went back to 1994 when I didn't know how corrupt our government was back then, but it was probably more corrupt then than it is now, or at least equally. But we didn't have the internet, which is a big curse, and it's also a blessing because it does shed some daylight on things. Clearly in 94, news wouldn't have traveled as quickly about this. Serbian, we're calling it an export ban. I think if they didn't ban it themselves, we were about to ban it. I'm going to get onto that in just a few minutes. My guesses and theories. I reported all the factual news earlier today and yesterday, by the way, guys. All the up-to-date information. Tonight, I'm going to get into some opinions, okay? Some things that I'm not going to declare anything, but just things that I'm thinking about. We had the so-called assault rifle ban, meaning anything that was imported that was foreign couldn't have more than a certain amount of foreign parts, and that was from George Bush Sr., the Republican, because Republicans definitely have been more successful at gun control overall. We just have to be honest with this because it's the truth. The truth hurts sometimes, but the Republicans have been more successful historically, generally speaking, in gun control than the Democrats have been, at least in my lifetime. So he banned that, okay. And then we started seeing cheap Chinese firearms like the MAC-90. Some of you guys are familiar with that. The NHM-91, the NHM-91 National Match. Now, the 56S-1 and the Polytech Legend, those were gone by the way of the dodo bird, only to keep appreciating more and more in value. And they continue to every minute, every day, and every month, and every year. And that was because you could no longer get a completely foreign-made rifle that had any type of evil features at all from a foreign country due to the Republican gun ban. Well, that was about the first time that most Americans had even heard of the AK, besides movies and besides people who had served in Vietnam and other places. It was the first time that people could actually start to afford AKs, like regular people, poor people. And the Chinese AK import certainly filled that void. Now, before you guys start typing too much, because most of you won't do this, but inevitably some will. Every time I broach this topic, you're going to say, but that's good that we banned the stuff from China. Well, maybe in a bubble, yes. And I think if there was a way they could have in 94 banned everything from China, I don't know. I'm not a world economist. I'm not part of the new social world order. Okay, and I'm not part of the military industrial complex. So what would I know? But maybe we'd be a lot stronger country if they would have just banned everything from China before we closed down production of everything in the U.S. But they didn't do that. See, the same reason why most of you can afford this computer that you're watching me on, or phone that you're watching me on, or gaming console is because if not all of your device that you're watching this on, if not all, at the very least, it's most of the components were made in China. So if it wasn't for China exports, none of us would be having this stream because you couldn't even use technology right now without China because, again, the United States doesn't generally make a whole lot of crap anymore when it comes to consumer commodities, at least, and many industrial things too. A lot of the big three here in the U.S., they tool up with all kinds of stuff from all over the world. Don't let them fool you. Now, with that said, the same reason you can afford a microwave oven, and the same reason that it's no big deal if your hair dryer shorts out or your whatever, your little wristwatch, unless you have a Rolex. Maybe some of you do. If you do, shout out. But look, is because we're still getting cheap Chinese goods. And at that time, even after the assault weapons ban, the assault rifle ban of 1990 by George Bush, poor people, normal people, working class people could still buy an AK in the same manner that you just think nothing of buying a cheap flat screen TV, cheap microwave oven, hair dryer, you name it. That went on until 1994. Now, the MAC-90 was already bastardized and fell within sporting purpose and all of this because of the previous ban. and would have been affected by the 94 assault weapons ban. It already came with a extra small capacity magazine. It either would have no threads on the barrel or they would grind them off in some cases. It would have no bayonet, and in most cases, at least by the time 1990 came around, no provision for a bayonet. It would come with a thumb hole stock, so it didn't have a pistol grip. And it met all the definitions of just being a semi-automatic sporting rifle. See, a lot of people mistakenly think that the Chinese AKs and the SKSs, which, by the way, SKS didn't fall inherently under the assault weapons ban either, depending how you had it configured, but inherently it wouldn't have fallen under that, except for the fact that that's not why the AKs disappeared in the US in the early 90s. It was actually because Chinese government official or officials, it was alleged by the US that they were involved in arms trafficking, particularly that they were allegedly exporting illegally or trafficking these firearms from China to gangbangers on the West Coast. We think of the Bloods and the Crips wars that were prolific at that time. Now, I say allegedly not because I want to stick up for China, because I certainly don't trust China. But we've had Operation Fast and Furious happen in this country since then, where it's literally been proven beyond any reasonable doubt by subcommittee, by testimony. Basically, they had a whole trial on it. Eric Holder was held in contempt of Congress over this. Flat Rock native Special Agent Brian Terry was killed on the border with one of these guns that was hustled through with Operation Fast and Furious, where they would get people to do straw purchases, and the government would buy guns in the U.S., send them over to the cartels in Mexico, knowing they would inevitably be trafficked, back and forth across lines, and make so-called gun violence go up so they could get their narrative of gun control. Now, was there an Operation Fast and Furious that happened in 94? But instead of Mexico, it was with the Chinese? I don't know. You probably don't know either. But considering what we've busted our government doing since, how did JFK die? Like 3 decades before that. Just think about all this in its totality. Would you rule out the notion that maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, and you're all very smart people and you can think for yourself, do you think they really wanted to affect the Chinese government by banning all the cheap AKs from coming over here? Or did they want to disarm the peasants and the working class and the blue-collar people of the U.S. and prevent us from having AKs? Ask anyone who served in the Middle East over the last now 30 years, basically, or kept up with it on the news even. You can see some glimpse of it. Sometimes it doesn't go so well, even with a first world military against a bunch of peasants running around with AKs. I think the government's always known that. You could buy a Chinese Mac 90 for around $200, maybe $300. And then boom, they all dried up in the name of, allegedly, China trafficking these weapons to gangbangers. Now that sounds so much similar to Operation Fast and Furious. It's like, whoa. So when I started to think about this new thing here going on in Serbia, I thought, this is interesting. Okay, Kosovo, yep. This is a hotbed, yep. They've been in a cultural civil war ever since their hot civil war ended. Everybody pretty much knows that in that region of the world. And we're in a cultural civil war right now, too. I think about this. Think of Kosovo, Serbia, many other countries that were part of former Yugoslavia, but particularly Kosovo and Serbia right now. Back then and also right now. Some of the people want to sympathize with the West. Some people want to sympathize with the East. Some leaders are more pro-Putin. Some are more pro-Zelensky. Okay. Doesn't sound too much different than our government right now. And look at the people. You have a whole large section of people who say, we declared our independence and we live in Kosovo. And then Serbia says, no, you didn't. We don't acknowledge that you successfully got your independence or seceded, whatever word you want to use. I think that's where we're at right now. Because if you look in this country with the current former vice president, and then you look at my state legislature, my governor, attorney general, secretary of state, all of them, every last one of them. In Michigan, it's like, I hear stuff time and time again. Bills that are being passed that are completely repugnant to the Constitution, repugnant to the courts in Marbury v. Madison, which says all laws that are repugnant to the Constitution, they are void. They're null and void. And we saw the Michigan legislature pass an 11-bill, 3-subject matter gun control package. And then they went through and did a nefarious by commission. Just think about this. Does this even sound like America? Now they're funding the capital ban, complete and utter capital ban of firearms in Michigan by secret commission. This is the stuff you would hear about, like the ministry of whatever. The commission on whatever. Yeah. Secret commissions in the basement of the Capitol building, banning firearms summarily from the whole place that's been there over 100 years, and there's never been any, quote, gun violence, to use their term. And I notice there's people like me, you look at the stars and stripes, the red, white, and blue, and you think to yourself, all men are created equal, and they're endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that we would have a government that would be instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And by golly, if the government would ever become contrary to that, it is your right, it is your duty to abolish that government and put forth a new government that you feel will be most likely to affect your safety and happiness. That's what Thomas Jefferson wrote, and that's what the founding fathers said. And it originally had 13 stars, and now it has 50. Think of family members, great uncles that served in World War II in Korea. Good friends of mine that also served in both wars that are no longer with us. People who served in Vietnam, people that served in all of the various Middle East, from Desert Storm all the way up to the very last disastrous retreat of the Bagram Air Force Base, and people that are still there, and so many more conflicts in between. And you think of that. And then you look at a picture last month at the White House. First of all, a former vice president occupying the White House. Yeah, that's weird too. But I looked at the flags that were flown. And I expected to see the former vice president standing with the American flag thrown prominently and high, and him probably disgracing the flag with all of his anti-American agenda and anti-American rhetoric. And I would have been disappointed if I saw that. But unfortunately, it's not that simple anymore, and our government's even a bit more tyrannical and antithetical to itself than that. No, I saw this pride flag, it's called, which is one of the 7 deadly sins. And I saw that flown. It's a rainbow, which I believe, I don't know about you, you can believe what you want, but I believe stands for God's promise to Noah and to the world and to you that he would never destroy the whole world with a flood again. And I cherish the rainbow for that reason, and it's a beautiful thing. Quite possibly one of the most beautiful things you can see. But I didn't see that type of rainbow. I didn't think of Noah or God. I actually thought of hell. And I saw this so-called pride flag, one of the 7 deadliest sins flag, flying prominently dead center on the front of the White House, which is the capital of the United States. Think about that for a minute. You know, we talk about China and the way that, look, guys, is it possible that was the first Fast and Furious, the way the Chinese arms got banned? Because, look, if I could just wave a magic wand, I'm never going to be able to do that, and that's fine. My life on Earth is short, and I know it. But look, everybody's is. But here's the thing: if I could somehow wave a magic wand, and I didn't want to, I don't want to. This is just hypothetical. I would go. I don't want anything from dang China. Okay, many good people that live there, but the CCP China, screw them. I don't like China. But they didn't do that. And me living in Michigan, which is quickly becoming one of the most tyrannical communist states in this whole country, we just got done funding one of the biggest joint ventures with the Chinese CCP to put in with Ford Motor Company and all this, these big automotive joint ventures. We are in bed now with the Chinese government, in my opinion, more than we were in 94. But what they did do is they banned the American people from being able to get their hands on cheap ammo. It wasn't just 7.62 by 39. China was producing excellent and extremely cheap 223, 7.62 by 39, of course, 308, 30-06, 9mm, 380. I mean, I'm just naming a couple. That all went bye-bye. Russia. Where's Hunter? He's in Burisma, like I said earlier. Oh, we have to ban everything from Russia. Well, there went the country that invented the Kalashnikov. Now, in all fairness, that was Trump and Barack Hussein Obama. Obama banned so-called Kalashnikov concern, which made the Saiga rifles. If you got it imported by Arsenal, it would have been called an SGL series. It was also known as Izhmash, and it's the factory that's in the city of Izhevsk. Okay, the factory at the city of Izhevsk called Izhmash. Sega. Obama sanctioned and banned those. Then there was still one left, the Molot factory. Trump came right in and banned that. And bump stocks, which led to all of these things right now that are getting banned summarily by the ATF. Look, I'm a single issue voter, guys. I'll sit there and piss on Trump and Biden in the same sentence if they're both doing the same thing. That doesn't mean that I have disdain for them equally. I have more disdain for Biden, obviously. But I digress. So the cheap Chinese stuff's gone, but we're doing more business with them than ever before. If I could wave a magic wand, I would do nothing with China. But that just ain't the way it is. Right now, as we speak, the Michigan government is signing unholy alliances with the Chinese government like they never, ever, ever have before. In my opinion, whoever's watching here from YouTube, China will basically be occupying parts of Michigan soon. That's besides the fact that they probably already are, let's face it. Now, it just so happens to be that we come full circle with all of that to the government, the Serbian government, who's, we'll call him top brass, president. I'm trying to think of Vulin's technical title here. I talked about it earlier, but I've had to cut a couple of acres of grass since then. They just happen to be more sympathetic and pro-Putin generally. We just happen to sanction the same guy, Mr. Vulin, that had just not too long ago made a trip to Russia to visit with Putin. Now, to be very clear, the official story from the news is the United States isn't the one that sanctioned the firearms or stopped them from being imported. It was actually a thing that the Serbian president put in play. And that's the facts of the matter right now as we know them. And so we can't export anything because we might be fighting Kosovo soon, or probably will be. All right. But the U.S. at the same time just happens to be sanctioning one of the top government officials in Serbia. And now I guess the U.S. is going to give the Serbian government a little more time so they can do their own criminal investigation on this guy. And it's kind of been implied from the research I've been doing today that if Serbia can do enough to this guy or whatever, maybe the U.S. won't have to go any further. But the U.S. happened to sanction one of the top couple government officials of Serbia. Like literally the same day we find that out, we find out that Serbia decides it's going to hold all exports. Now, that's what's been reported. But here's what I would wonder about. I wonder if there could have been a phone call from the U.S. that said, we're about to sanction all of your small arms because that's what we always do. We always sanction stuff because it's gun control, but there's no vote on it. It's something that completely happened. Most of the Republicans will give them a break if a Republican does it. Democrats will cheer him on for doing it. There's like no accountability at the polls at all. Nobody's ever held an accountable government official accountable for banning guns via sanction. Most people don't even know that the Chinese guns were banned via sanction. They think it's something else. Well, here's how I can prove to you the Chinese stuff didn't get banned from the 94 assault weapons ban. That dang thing expired in 2004. I've literally gotten into arguments with people, Second Amendment supporters, gun owners. They're like, dude, the Chinese AKs got banned because of the assault weapons ban. I'm like, no, not the Mac 90s. And even if they did, that ban was over in 2004. The reason you've never seen anything with a rifled bore or ammo again from China is because there's a sanction on them. That any president with a stroke of a pen could unsign, but they won't do it. They never, ever will do that. Just like I don't think the Russian AKs and ammo and whatnot are ever coming back. That's my opinion, but we'll see. When it's 30 years from now, I'm sure I won't be here on YouTube then. I'm sure there won't even be YouTube then. I'll be saying, do you remember 30 years ago when they sanctioned the Russian stuff? Do you remember 60 years ago when they sanctioned the... It'll still be sanctioned then. You never, ever get it back. Not when it comes to these economic sanctions. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Thanks for the member chat, Mike McClune. Linda popped it up there and took it off real quick before I could get a chance to really read it. He says, oh man, I've been a channel member for 2 years now. Well, thanks, man. And I want to thank all of the channel supporters, the channel members, Patreon supporters, those of you that support over on Locals. I definitely couldn't do this without you guys. And I've been providing quite a bit of content to you guys. So if you're a Patreon member, go check my Patreon feed. Same thing here for the YouTube community members, as well as the supporters on Locals. I think I've done in the last 3 weeks, I've done about 3 videos on the regular channel, and I've done 3 live streams, and I think I've done 6 separate bonus videos for the supporters. So I've been more on the mood to do those types of videos for you guys than gun or 2A stuff, actually. So if you guys want some extra content that really doesn't have to do with guns or 2A at all, definitely check those notifications out, guys. I appreciate it. And one other thing I want to talk about real quick here. We think of things like, and I can't touch guns because it's a live stream, so I'm not gonna, but I will be able to hold up a little bit of ammo and talk about how that's probably affected too. We'll find out for sure as this continues to shake down. On my Locals community, it's a censorship-free site. YouTube's not. This is the most censored place I could possibly be as far as to do videos. But this is where most people want to be, and I want to be here with you guys, right? So over on my Locals community, I spent quite a bit of time making a post. Some of you are probably thinking to yourself, man, I better hurry up and go get me some Belom, some PPU, maybe a Zastava AK. I'm not trying to get you guys to panic buy. Just people in this chat tonight are like, I just bought this, I just bought that. Look, you guys can literally financially support the channel totally for free over on Locals by doing your normal shopping. And I want it to be a win-win. And that's one of the things that helps keep this channel going. So at least go over there and get a free account, or you can support for more perks. I do weekly live streams, right, where I touch guns. And a lot of you that are Locals members that don't go over there much, if you know you're going to make a big purchase at a bunch of different sites that I share links for over there, if you could just take 10 seconds out of your time, go over there first. Like, I'm not suggesting you guys do this. You guys can do whatever you want. I don't want anybody to panic buy anything, okay? I have a very large Yugo collection that I bought many, many years ago, before Zastava USA even existed, one piece at a time. Could never afford it today because this stuff was dirt cheap back in the day. But I digress. I don't care what you guys buy. But if you already know right now, you're like, dude, I'm going to go buy one. At least go over there and check out my Locals listing first. It just takes a little click, and you guys can drastically help the channel. Because a lot of people are broke right now. Okay? A lot of people are broke right now. Most channel support's down, and I get it. The economy totally sucks. But when you're spending your $1,000 on an AK tonight or tomorrow, if you could just think of me long enough to go to Locals, it'd be much appreciated. Keeps the channel going, and you didn't have to spend a penny out of your own pocket. And I find you guys awesome deals over there, okay? I find you guys awesome deals that help save you a lot of money. I just saw someone said, we don't want to be here, but we don't want another account. I get it, dude. Which means you want to be here more than anything is what that ultimately means. And it means I want to be here and almost everyone else does, right? Because where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, it's always a trade-off with stuff. But at the same time, people do what they want to do. And usually take the path of least resistance, which is easier. Ron Wayne saying locals rocks. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that, man. I think we have a good time over there, dude. If this was a local stream, trust me, I would have already held up and showed like 10 Yugo guns, Serbian guns, whatever you want to call them. Like, literally, I probably would have by now. I might do that tomorrow night. I might do a different topic. I'm not exactly sure. Serbia halts arms exports after U.S. sanctioned the country's spy chief, they're calling him, for alleged illegal arms trade. Now, the defense minister, Milos Vucevic, has said the export ban is necessary in order to fulfill the needs of the Serbian army and boost its combat readiness amid the simmering crisis in the Balkan region. He says it does not mean Serbia is going to call for going to war or calling for war, but we are looking at all security risks and challenges. And again, that is the official news. I reported that straight up in my video earlier today, also yesterday, of what that news was. And I was very careful with my research. I'm going to say this one more time for people just joining. I'm just throwing some stuff out there tonight, that just stuff that I'm thinking about. It's just going through my head. This is all just speculation and me just using good old-fashioned things that I've learned over the years. Like, well, if you want to know the future, look at history. And I know that we've got the thing that happened in China in 94, and then some of the stuff that happened in Russia, 6-7 years ago, and then again 4 years ago, and then again the rest of the Russian stuff a year ago, right? This stuff just kind of really, really likes to repeat itself a lot. And when I saw Serbia halts arms exports, so the official narrative, Serbia is just no longer exporting firearms due to crisis brewing in the Balkans, right amid, at the same time that the U.S. is sanctioning one of their top government officials for so-called arms trafficking. Well, let's see here. At one time, there was AKs back in the pre-ban days. They were the very first AKs that came in this country, essentially. We used to get Egyptian guns in. Egyptian AKs. Not anymore. Okay. I talked about how the Chinese stuff's been banned since 94. All of the Russian stuff's been banned recently as well. So we have Serbian, which, as I cited in my yesterday's video, between Serbia, Romania, and Bulgaria. Now, there's also Poland still out there. That's the 4 countries essentially left that you can still import. Well, could. Now there's only 3, but at that time could get imported into the U.S. Well, Serbia was number 1. Behind that, you had Romania and then Bulgaria. Now, I would note, if there's a ray of hope to this, but I'm seeing the U.S. government involved, so I'm still hoping, though, all right? There was a time period a couple years ago where Romania was halting exports of their Wasser and Draco product lines because of some stuff that was going on over there. Okay, they were in the middle of some type of tumult with their military, and they also had a really bad fire, allegedly, at this Cougar factory. So due to reasons that had nothing to do with U.S. politics, they temporarily halted exporting AKs out of their country for a while. And it was months and months and months, and it felt like forever, but then they started exporting them again, and we've had them ever since. So, in all fairness, this has happened before. Now, Serbia right now is saying this is just for 30 days, and then they're going to revisit it in 30 days. While meanwhile, they have to, I guess, like investigate and punish one of their own top government officials for his alleged drug and arms trafficking ring that he's running. That's going on at the same time. The U.S. has already sanctioned this particular guy. I don't know. I hope in 30 days they're like, all right, cool. We're just going to start shipping them again. With the delay in the pipeline, maybe the Zastava stuff will never even go out of stock, and they'll be coming back in the country before the current pipeline dries up. That is my hope. And it is possible that that's what's going to happen. I can't say for sure, though. But I did give you an example of once that I can remember with Romania, where they halted, and then they brought them back. The Arsenal stuff, that's a totally different ballgame. Because Arsenal, yeah, they'll say they're not shipping this and this. Well, then all of a sudden, after they discontinue a whole product line, KVAR will keep finding in the back room pallets of this stuff after the price went up tenfold. That's a whole nother racket. If you guys have gone down that racket before, that's something totally different. Poland, okay. So we still have two primary factories there. The WBP, all right, and then the FB Radom factory, which are good firearms as far as I'm concerned. I don't own any WBP, but FB Radom, yes. I don't know. There's like 100 countries that use the AK, and we're down to where we're already down to like, I guess, 3 left, at least for 30 days to accurately report, right? U.S. does mostly make crappy AKs. Now, I really like PSA's offerings, their modern offerings. We shot 1,000 rounds in 1 hour and 5 minutes at the 2A EDU hangout this last fall at Pillbox Bunker's house in Howell. Some of you guys were there. Some of you guys were on that video. I'll tell you what, the gun's still running like it's brand new. I haven't even cleaned it yet. I've taken it back out to the range and shot at a few more range sessions since then. Not 1,000 rounds. Can't afford the ammo for that right now, but I've shot it a few more times since then and still haven't even cleaned it yet. The finish on it looks better than an Arsenal after it was basically burned down almost with heat. We were burning ourselves, even just touching the handguards, trying to finish that video. So yeah, I've done a complete behind-the-scenes, all-inclusive, and I mean literally saw everything. I was in the CEO's office. I was in one of the brothers who founded the company's office. I was on the shop floor, the warehouse, the storage rooms, the CNC machine places at PSA. Not once, but twice I've been there. I've seen everything from A through Z, not just assembling their AKs, but actually building the parts. I was very, very impressed. And I've been very impressed with the PSA offerings that I have. So that's awesome news. Because pretty much besides them, and maybe there's a couple little small boutique companies, but as far as companies that are mass producing AKs in the U.S., it's about the only one that I'm going to give my seal of approval on. I'll just put it that way. Okay. So I'm going to say, but what about such and such limited? He's in his garage and he makes 5 a year. Well, hey, if a guy's only making 5 a year and he's doing it out of his garage, those are probably the best. I just don't know all of the boutique companies. So don't get anyone get their feelings hurt. If you bought a $5,000 whatever that like there were 5 made of, that might be awesome too. I'm just talking like when it comes to the mainstream US AKs, PSA is about the only thing I'd spend my money on. And I can say that with a pretty straight face. All right, can you queue up? I saw I had a couple super chats. I want to read those real quick while those people are still here, because I do appreciate the support, guys. If you could help me with those, Linda, if you're still here. Thanks for being a channel member so long. Mike McClune, I appreciate you, man. And all of you guys. Patrick Fellers with a super chat. Thanks, man. He said, funny how the only places our politicians are eager to send our young warriors are to our places that have natural resources they want. Well, that is kind of funny, isn't it? Huh. That actually reminds me of a couple things. You look at, resources. It's just follow the money. It's follow the money. You can say follow the money if you guys want more of a secular point of view, or if you read the Bible, you would know it says the love for money is the root of all evil. So, yeah, not a big surprise there, right? It's kind of funny, too. I think it was Norm Macdonald that said it. It was one of the comedians back in the day where they said it's funny how the good guys just win all the wars. Isn't that funny, too? Think about that. The good guys just happen to win every war there is and always have. Now, there's one or two things that could be true, and that's where the comes into play. It's actually it's a funny joke, but then you think about it a little longer, and it's like, oh, gosh, I think I'm going to get dizzy. It's actually very profound. Somehow the good guys have always won every war in history. Now, one of two things could be true, obviously. Either only good people win wars no matter what, which, okay. Or the victors get to write the history book. And your history you read is the version from the victor, not from the people that lost. I don't think we'd really be cherishing or be able to even probably read or know it existed at all. The founding documents like the Declaration of Independence. If our founding fathers of this country had lost. Now, I think that our founding fathers were the good guys. I truly do. I mean, look at our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. Probably the best government that's ever been set up on this earth, quite frankly. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I just know it when I see it. I know good when I see it. I know evil when I see it. And I do believe our founding fathers were, at the very least, generally good. That notwithstanding that no men are perfect whatsoever. While being heavily flawed like all of us, I believe they were inspired by divine providence, as they stated themselves. And that, yeah, our country was founded on something that was good. How good is our country anymore? I don't know. You guys are good people. I know a lot of good people. But man, oh man, I don't think the ATF's good. Okay, I don't think the CIA's always got the best thing going on. FBI, any fans of those? I mean, you guys know what I'm saying, right? And even within that, it gets complicated because there might be some good agents within there. And then other people would say, well, that can't be possible. How could you be good and still work for that? I'm not here to give all you guys the answers. I'm not that smart, but yeah. It's kind of funny. I think that was Norm Macdonald. Can someone fact check that for me and let me know? And I'm paraphrasing the quote because it's been a long time since I've heard it, but it was something like, isn't it funny or isn't it ironic? How it's only the good guys that win all the wars. DLD After Dark, what's happening, man? Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for the stream. Well, good to see you too. And thanks for hanging out, man. I hope your channel's doing good. I've basically become a full-time mechanic. I wish I was a full-time mechanic, like for a living, because that would be a pay raise. Maybe I could go out and buy another Zastava, but I mean like a mechanic where I'm fixing all my own stuff. So I've been working on vehicles as much as I can. I'm going to try to finally get this car fixed eventually, except for every time I get all my tools laid out, there's a thunderstorm. This is true. I can't even make this up, guys. Can't even make it up. I wish I could. Gosh, I wish I could be lying. Whole month. I was almost out of the lawn mowing business because all the grass was brown. There was nothing to mow. Now all of a sudden, I'm having a hard time cutting any grass, although it's growing 8 to 12 inches a week because it rains like literally every single day. And I'm trying to like get some lawns cut and then like work on the car for a few hours. I don't have the luxury of a garage or shop where I can pull my vehicle in with the toolbox and the hoist. No, none of that. I'm on the ground outside. It takes me 30 minutes to get all the tools out, get them set up, the correct socket on this, that, get everything laid out. And then, did you hear that? Is that just a semi truck? Is that just a gravel train hitting the potholes? Yeah. These roads that Gretchen was going to fix, they're worse in Michigan now than they've ever been. We just keep getting more gun control. She still can't fix the damn roads. And that's her quote. I'm like, was that a gravel train on one of those third world roads here? And then it's like, look up. Oh, boy, that wasn't a gravel train. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Especially if they're empty. That pup trailer will hit a bad enough pothole and it'll go boom, 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 boom. Sounds like thunder. No. It's real thunder. All right, scramble, tools, running around in circles, falling over tools, corralling them up, throwing them in the back seat of the car so they're easier to get to. And then half of them still get wet. And then I'm like wiping them off and laying them out in the sun and trying to, yeah. Oh boy. And here you are on a Friday night listening to me complain about the weather. Well, that's what old men do, right? Is sit and talk about the weather. Some of you young bucks out there probably do consider me an old man. I did own a gun, my first gun, when the AWB got put in place. I had just bought my first one, and the Chinese sanctions went in place. So I guess I'm good. Like, I'm not old, but I'm certainly not young. But I'm talking about the weather with you guys, so I'll try to move on from that. Michael Hebner with a super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. It doesn't let Linda post the actual sticker up on here due to StreamYard, but I will definitely look at it when I go back and read the chat tomorrow. Thanks, man. Michael Hebner's thinking, man, I wouldn't have left that super chat if I knew this guy was going to turn into boring me with the weather. I'll stop boring you guys with the weather. Patrick Fellers with another super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. He says, history is written by the victors. Winston Churchill. There you go. There you go. Did anyone find that Norm Macdonald quote, Linda? If they did, if you can grab that real quick. Maybe somebody took the time to look that up. I might have totally butchered it. It might not even have been Norm Macdonald, but I think it was. Z with a super chat, a channel member. Thank you, Z. Says Car 10 Fund. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a gift that keeps on giving. I'm still going to save a ton of money over going to a shop. Shout out to your local mechanic, guys. You should all support your local shop. But I have some mechanical abilities and a bunch of tools and kind of just have to fix my own stuff right now. Couldn't get the outer tie rods off, so now I have to buy 2 inner tie rods. Well, I can get the tie rods off, but the jam nuts are so jammed in place, literally cannot move them. Stripped out the flats that are on the rod, put a 13 millimeter wrench on there, had a 13 millimeter wrench and a pair of vice grips, both holding it, trying to undo the jam nut. And all it was doing is swiveling around the inner tie rod. They were already kind of older anyways. And I was like, you know what? I put a bunch of extra wear and tear on these inners, trying to get the jam nut out that the outer tie rod attaches to. I'm going to replace the inner tie rods as well. So, you guys know how that goes. Please tell me somebody knows how that goes. Look, I'm going to say one more thing. Boy, oh boy. I want to say I hate all you people in the South. No, I don't want to say that. I'll rephrase it. I'm messing with you guys. I'm very jealous of all of you people in the South. I'm going to be down in Georgia again here in a couple months, so definitely shout out to the South. I tried to say that with a straight face. I want to hate all of you from the South. No. I like Southern people. But I'm so jealous of you guys. You guys that don't salt your roads, let me tell you what. I did a quick behind the scenes video you guys are going to see. Trying to get the castle nut off the bottom of a ball joint. So I'm changing my control arms too. Was like a 15-minute process. Kept on going bigger wrench. I'm like, screw this. Brought up the 750 foot-pound torque impact gun. Wham, took it off of there. The nut gets stuck in the socket. Then you got to take it and like go into the vise with a punch and like, you guys that don't salt your roads, just thank yourself that you're not stupid enough to live in this treacherous state of Michigan or New York or others where the governments are making you miserable and then just to even try to do anything on your car. It's insane. Everything's so rusted. If I was doing this job from a Georgia or Alabama car, for example, I literally would have been able to do the whole project in about 5 hours. And I'm changing everything on the front end pretty much. It's going to be 20 hours in Michigan. Not even joking. It's fourfold dealing with the rust. You'll see cars that are 3 years old in Michigan and they're already rusting out on the bottom. Now, that's not only a headache for you working on your own vehicle, but when you take it to the shop, it costs more. And then most people I know, in Michigan anyway, shout out all you Michiganians and New Yorkers and other states that just, the government just hates everybody in your state, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't hate you guys, but your government does. you have to buy new vehicles every few years. And if you have an old vehicle, literally stuff will happen. Like vehicles will break in half going down the road. I can't even tell you guys, I'll just put this into perspective. I can't even tell you the last time that I've known anybody in the state of Michigan who had to scrap their vehicle or almost died driving it when it broke in half where the engine was bad. Like, that's not even a thing in Michigan. The motor blew, time to get rid of the car, unless you have like an old Dodge Shadow with the head gaskets, but that's a whole nother story. No, every car in Michigan gets scrapped with the engine running perfectly. Perfectly. You can set a full coffee cup on top and not even see the ripples in it. The engine's running that perfect. And the car literally breaks in half because it rusts all the way through. It's terrible. The way we put salt on our roads. And they're still like some of the most treacherous roads. I know we're in the north and it snows. That's the obvious answer, but we just pound the salt on our roads in Michigan, and they're still super treacherous and slippery. There's other methods that could be done that won't corrode your car, but they have to waste too much money on social justice projects to actually put decent ice melt on the roads that would not rust your car. I do snow removal too, so I can literally prove magnesium chloride, things like that, that will actually rust-proof your car rather than rot it into a big crumble of just nastiness. St. Vicari with a super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. A generous super chat and a channel member. He said 3 years ago, I bought an M70, awesome, and an M90 Z-Pap. Now, the M90 is what a lot of people would call their 7.62 by 39 Krinkhoff. That's usually in pistol form here in the U.S. or in SBR form, right? He said, one of the reasons I made the decision to go ahead with the buy was because in the back of my mind, something like this could happen. Crazy. Also, how's the long slong? All the channel supporters, go watch that video. That is not what you guys think. Don't have a dirty mind here. This is a completely family-friendly channel. I literally reviewed a product called the Slong, and I bought the long version. If any of you are shaking your head being like, I don't know about this guy, is he? No. Like, that's literally the name of the product. S-L-O-N-G. And they make a short version and they make an extended or a long version of it. And I literally reviewed it for all of my channel supporters and channel members and whatnot, just as a little perk. I actually have a follow-up review that I'm going to put out soon. Okay. For all of you in the South that don't have the rust on your cars, I'm sure it's great. In Michigan, I had to go to a 750 foot-pound impact. So, yeah. M70. I showed you guys in the video yesterday because I thought a lot of you were in the mood for a gun video. So that one I put out yesterday, the first half was like the news, talking about the speculative ban on the guns no matter what. Now we know, and probably the ammo too. I'm going to talk about the ammo in just a few minutes. But then I was like, you know what? I just want to do a gun review too. So it was a 35-minute video. Probably the first half was talking about, at that time, the speculative ban, which has been confirmed today. I did a bunch of research and did a follow-up video on YouTube today. And then the second half was just a gun review of like 4 or 5 different Yugo, we'll call them, Serbian nowadays, firearms. I don't have any of the new Z-Pap M70s. The only one that I bought from Zastava USA was my M90. Couldn't shoot it when it arrived out of the box. It was missing a pin retainer, right? They did send me a new one. A couple viewers had my backs. One of you guys sent me a retainer. I ended up using the one that my friend, the viewer, sent me because it was better than the ones they used. But whatever. They did send it to me. The other ones of mine are either older Century imports. Okay. Think like NPAP, OPAP era. How long have you guys been into Yugos? NPAP and OPAP. Does that ring a bell to anybody? And then kit builds. So I showed my M70 AB2, which is basically what the Z-Pap M70 is. But I do like the AB2 kit builds more because it has all of the, we'll just say the accoutrements, right? It has the shoulder thing that goes up. I tried to make a joke in the video yesterday. I don't think anybody caught that, or no one bothered to comment. They call that the shoulder thing that goes up, I guess, right? The launcher sight. And there's a few other differences that you'll see versus original Milsurp military issue that had to be demilled, cut up, and rebuilt here. You go M70 AB2 or AB1 versus the ones that are made for the modern day consumer market. Make no mistake, the current Zastava firearms you buy today, and even the ones you bought from Century, were made from the ground up to be a consumer gun. Now, still made at the same factory, but you had to get the older, and you can still get them to a point, but not as much. They used to sell parts kit builds that were just demilled and then rebuilt here in the U.S., original mill serp stuff. If you got yours way, way back in the day, it would still come with original populated barrel, like original barrel. So, not chrome lined if it was 7.62 by 39. That's something that Zastava USA, in conjunction with, I'm sure they were the ones requesting it, to Zastava Serbia, started chrome lining their 7.62 by 39 barrels. But all throughout all those years in the military, with this actually being a very early M64 that's way yonder, right behind my thumb, from there, all the way up to their, including their SKSs, their AKs, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, into the 2000s, until the American market said we have to have a chrome line bore. They didn't chrome line their 7.62 by 39 barrels. Why? Because they didn't need to. It's literally that simple. They didn't need to. Whereas Russia and all of the CONBLOC countries would shoot. The case isn't what matters as much in this case, not as far as the bore is concerned. We can have other debates about that. But the actual bore, they would use bimetal jacket, meaning it would attract a magnet and be like a mild steel, similar to this Tula. If you guys are looking for any of this Tula 7.62 by 39, don't take this stuff for granted, guys. I posted a deal on this today over on Locals. I can't share it here on YouTube, unfortunately. But instead of bimetallic jacket, meaning attracting magnets, meaning in theory more abrasive on the old bore, from the very beginning, Yugoslavia at that time. Look, it's been Yugoslavia, not Yugoslavia, Yugoslavia, not Yugoslavia again. It's gone back and forth several times. Read the history books. It's complicated. But since they first started issuing firearms, the SKS, the M59 originally, then the M59/66, with the very early, this is the so-called M64, but it's actually a very early M70 technically, milled receiver, bolt hold open, a true bolt hold open, not the bolt hold open mags. But I'll show you guys that again tomorrow night on Locals Live, which I can do there. I can't touch it here. I'll give you guys that deal. But that's a very unique specimen. Anyways, from the ground up, they always used brass cased and non-metallic jackets on their projectiles, or non-steel, non-bimetal rather, copper, brass, whatever. So yeah, there's no need to. Now, in theory, if you're shooting tons of corrosive ammo and not even like doing anything to attempt to ever clean it, or if you're shooting just tons and tons and tons of the bimetal jacket, in other words, steel with a copper wash on it, right? A steel alloy. Granted, it's a very soft steel, but it is steel. It's kind of funny sometimes. The U.S. market gets these certain things in their head, especially AK guys. And trust me, I would know. I'm an AK guy. Now, you guys thought I only rip on AR guys, but I'm going to rip on AK guys for a minute. And I am one. I like ARs too. But it's like, look, some guys get stuff in their head where they're like, if it's an AK, it has to only be. And it's like, then they get it in their head where they're demanding everything has to be chrome lined bores from Zastava. Okay, maybe, but like, you need your civilian semi-auto non-military, right? Because even if you're watching this and you're in the military, I'm sure you're not able to use your personally owned ZPAP on the battlefield in the United States service. So nobody's using any of these guns in the military that are buying them here. Basically, provably so. Some people say, but what if there's I don't know, maybe, but if I had to put money, there ain't never going to be one of those. Not with what I saw happen the last 3 years in this country. If there wasn't one then, there ain't never going to be any type of boogie woogie or party, like people call it. So with that out of the way, people got frustrated because they said, my civilian semi-auto Zastava M70 is not enough military for me. And Zastava's like, well, hold on a minute. You know, all of our actual military in full auto that actually did fight in wars. And trust me, if something was a Yugo, it was used in war because the Balkans were some of the most bloodiest, long drawn out wars. You could say war or wars with an S. The Balkan wars, conflicts, lasted a long time. The stuff got used like crazy. Full auto, too. They said, we never chrome lined our bores. We were just fine. And then people said, nope. My civilian gun has to be more military than an actual military one. So there you go. I picked on AK guys for once, right? But yes, on paper, in theory, a chrome line bore is better. Maybe. But not with this brass cased ammo. Now the Yugo ammo. Have any of you guys ever bought any that was surplus? That was called the M67 spec, which is a different type of 7.62 by 39 than Russia, and there's many different specs out there. But the old stuff that used to always come in the country was the M67. That's basically what you have here with this Belom. Most people consider it a plus here in the United States that this has non-corrosive primers. And it's probably a plus for probably all the reasons why most of you would shoot. Yes, or that I would shoot. But I say it's probably a plus because it totally depends. See, it's not that simple. It's not only that, well, non-corrosive ammo is just better. Well, actually, there's still certain priming compounds which can leave behind a very slight residue of a salt. Okay, that's what we mean by corrosive. It leaves a slight salt behind that, if not tended to, if severely neglected, could start some pitting in some certain areas of the firearm, right? Especially if it's a semi-auto. It's going to have a gas system and things like that. But often more reliable detonation under certain severe service duty stuff, like extreme cold, for example. So yes, as primers and ammo have evolved generally, because if you go back far enough, both the powder was corrosive as well as the primer. If you're using true black powder, it's still highly corrosive today. Well, after a period of time, countries started narrowing it down where the powder wasn't necessarily corrosive anymore. But even all the way up to, including, I think in many cases, current times, some of the former CONBLOC countries still use the corrosive primers just because the chemicals that they want and what's called the priming compound, right? That's basically spun into and dried. I don't know exactly how they do it, but I have been to a couple ammo factories and toured them. It's put into this primer cup. Okay. Technically, priming compound explodes, and technically, gunpowder burns rapidly. Now, if you actually read the National Firearms Act, technically none of our firearms qualify as firearms. If you literally read the definition, in my opinion, I'm just saying this for trivia, no legal advice, but it says that fire with an explosive gas. Well, you can't even fire a bullet with just a primer, because if you do, you're going to get a squib load. Technically, gunpowder doesn't explode. It just burns very rapidly. But the primer basically pops. It explodes. Starts a very hot fire via the quick little explosion into the powder column, which is going to house your powder. It burns. When we talk about corrosive ammo today, well, you're probably talking, surplus stuff. Not too much is available on the market. It's really just the priming compound leaves behind a little bit of salts, hence corrosive. You guys want to know what my cure is for it? First of all, I have a great cleaning solution for it, but I don't even usually do that. Usually if I have corrosive primed ammo, I'll shoot as much of it as I want, and then before I leave for the day, I'll shoot minimum 5 rounds up to maybe a box, just to make sure if I want, of non-corrosive. So if I was shooting a whole bunch of older corrosively primed 7.62 by 39, I might grab this box of Global Ordnance. This is made in Bulgaria. Boy, we were getting awesome deals on this. I was sharing on locals. But like everything imported, this stuff's dried up. It hasn't been banned that I know of. It's just dried up, and I haven't seen it in months and months. I'll let you guys know on locals as soon as I do. But I would shoot like, I don't know, a quarter, a half. If I was in the mood to pull the trigger a little more, maybe a whole box. I just shoot several rounds or so of non-corrosively primed ammo through there. And in my opinion, it flushes it out good enough. If I do have to clean it, I use 10% ballistol, 90% water, which is an awesome tip. All right, and there was a super chat up there that I rambled so long about corrosive primers and whether we need chrome lined bores or not. I want to go back and read that super chat real quick. DLD After Dark with another one. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. Another super chat. He says, you see that BS that Minnesota hid in a bill to ban all unserialized. Seems to include all pre-GCA firearms and all homemade firearms as well. While before 1968, firearms didn't have to be legally serialized. So that would be interesting. Should I do a video on like how I clean my guns and what my go-to is? And just have someone ask about it. I don't know, dude. Here's what's crazy, DLD. I'm going to report on stuff when I need to, especially if there's Michigan stuff. But what I found is most viewers nowadays, there's so much gun control going on right now. So much going on via the 3-letter Fed boys and all these states, and just everybody's so doom and gloom. People have pretty much stopped buying guns for the most part, ammo. Like, everyone's just so depressed. It's like, if you even like, no one even wants to talk about this stuff anymore. It sucks. It's hard to stay motivated to talk about Second Amendment stuff when like your core audience is like, dude, we're sick of this crap. So I don't know, man. I've been staying low on a lot of that stuff just because it's like there's so much stuff going on right now and people are just tapping out at such record paces. I'll let you guys know after I go to a rally on the 19th in Michigan. I'll let you know how dire straits I think Michigan is or isn't, because there's going to be a rally, and I own you, Michigan. If you're curious about it, I posted it here on YouTube. I also shared the actual event itself on my Facebook page. And we haven't had a rally in Michigan that was hyped up as much as this in a while. Now, my friend Phil, the Crazy Heathen channel here on YouTube, he put on a really nice rally, actually. Him and his friend Dean and others. I don't want to leave people out. And it was an awesome rally over on the west side of the state over there, and I had a really good time. And I thought for where it was, because it wasn't in the most populated part of the state, and I don't want to speak for my friend Phil, I don't know, but I don't think he's a rich man. I know I'm not either. Nobody had tons of money to back it. Phil didn't have sponsors there that I saw or anything. If he did, again, I don't want to speak for him, but it was a real grassroots thing. So I actually thought there were a lot of people there, considering what it was and what I presume the funding was, or rather wasn't, for the event, right? But besides that, man, we haven't really had 2A rallies at all. Well, there's supposed to be a big one coming up here. The rally's coming. It's just supposed to be big. It's on the 19th. This week, the 19th. So in 5 days, I'm going to be speaking at it. So maybe you guys might want to come to see me talk, or maybe now you guys are definitely not going to come. I won't be speaking at it, so you guys can come. No, I'm going to be speaking at it. A whole list of people that are going to be speaking there. Kyle Rittenhouse is the headliner. And I'll let you guys know next Friday. Because Michigan's bad right now. But whether there's any fight left in Michigan or not, we'll see. Now, don't mistake what I'm saying here. I'm not confused. I'm not naive. I don't think that a rally is going to stop any gun control in Michigan. In fact, I know it's not. Not just point source on its face. There's no way the extreme left and their extreme left communists that are in the majority in Michigan, there's no way that they're just going to say, there was a big rally, let's not vote for the next gun control bill. That'll never happen. But, as I've said so many times, and I'm going to say it again, we are in a culture war. And politics is downstream from culture. I've said this a million times, and I'm going to say it again. Just giving you guys ideas when you're talking to your friends. Right, Jane Locke? And Jane Locke is my friend. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing okay. I hope I'll see you again soon. Jane and I have driven down to the Capitol together. She's gone up there a million times on her own. I've gone up there. Jane Locke's a good one. Make sure you guys are being nice to her in the chat. Not because of me, because she'll whip your butt if you're not. She's a lot tougher than I am. But look, politics is downstream from culture. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you won't write, if you won't call, if you won't go to your capital, if you won't go to a rally once in a while, if you won't talk to friends, family, if you won't do what you have to do, because look, if we're to be a government instituted among men, that means you have to be part of the government. That's what that means, right? If you want it to be run by we the people have to do something for once. If you won't do any of that, you won't vote, you ain't going to fight. Time and time again on the internet only, people say, all right, I won't go to a rally ever. I won't call. I won't write. I won't vote. And if there's nobody good to vote for on the local level, I'm talking local level right now, they won't run themselves. They won't be grassroots and door knock for their buddy that they know for sure would actually protect and defend the Second Amendment. No, online people, not you guys, just I'm saying there's a lot of people online that say this. I won't do any of it. I'll do absolutely nothing. I'm just going to sit there and boogaloo. I just go right to sleep. I'm like, yawn. Give me a break. You won't even do anything at all, but you're immediately going to put yourself in a life or death situation? I don't think so. I know you're not going to. So, does it mean that people aren't patriots if they don't go to this rally? No, it doesn't mean that at all. People have to work. Back to that again. Most people that are more on the patriotic side that still believe in America tend to have a job. A lot of people that are against that tend to not have jobs. That's not always true by any means, but it just tends to go that way. But we'll see. We'll see. Having a big rally for the Second Amendment in a state that is the target for gun control in the whole country right now with others. Michigan was just a big victory for them. Because, yes, what's going on in Oregon is reprehensible. Washington, New York, New Jersey, like, dude, you guys that live there, fight as hard as you can. I'll tell you what. But we already knew those states were, quote, taken over by the liberals or whatever. Doesn't mean all of you good people that live there are liberals. I won't do that to you. That's another big thing on YouTube. If you live in this state, you have to be. No. I'm way smarter than that. We need to be smarter than that. Everybody's not the same that lives in a big state. But it's like no one's surprised. See, Michigan up until, well, just about 9 months ago, had a Republican controlled. Now, there's lots of rhinos. There's Republicans that vote for gun control. But what I'm trying to say is, since everyone likes to talk gang warfare, Michigan was red up until very, very recently. It's red versus blue, right? We had a Rhino Snyder and his governor. Then we had a bunch of rhinos in the House and Senate leading that until recently. Trump won in 2016, Michigan, for example. Now, he banned guns, too, summarily, outside of Congress. So I don't know where that gets you, but Michigan was that pivotal turning state. If they could turn Michigan completely blue, they'd ban as many guns as possible. Now, when Michigan was run by Republicans, was still majority controlled, rhinos, whatever, I get it. Two sides of the same coin, two heads on the same beast. I get all of it. Sometimes you'll find a really good Republican. Sometimes you will. Right now in Michigan, you can't find a pro-Second Amendment Democrat. So there is still a difference. But in many cases, it's convoluted, not much. But I digress. So we need to find good candidates to run for your state and local government offices. Dude, we had such huge rallies. Gosh, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we had the hugest rallies you've ever seen in Michigan. And there wasn't one gun control bill that had even passed through committee. Now that they're just bulldozing the Second Amendment in Michigan Article 1, Section 6, everyone's like, oh, yawn. No, that just tells me this. It's not just that people are yawning. It's basically that people are cooked. I got on this long rant to say, dude, I think half my viewers right now, if you see one more gun control video, the Serbia thing's interesting because it's multi-pronged. It's an interesting topic. And trust me, I know where you guys are at right now. There's a reason why, and I wanted to do it too. Why half of that video yesterday was a gun review. People are just so cooked. so cooked right now. Like if you give them even one more ounce of burden on their shoulders, they're just gonna like break and whatever. I mean, I'm not making fun of anybody either. There's just like craziness. What sucks is we've like had more gun control since Bruin and stuff. And Bruin was a huge victory. And we do need to take strength from victories. I was super excited to get on here talking about the judge that had basically set aside. And as of right now, the frames and receivers rule is terminated. Look, there's good things happening. But oh my gosh, one of the best Supreme Court cases in a long time since Heller and probably McDonald, right? McDonald and Heller cases that went through the Supreme Court. And all of these states that hate America passed more gun control and retaliation. So I know it's even hard for people to get excited about Bruin. I understand that. I do. I do understand why people are kind of just like, ouch, it hurts. I'm going to try to just take a temperature reading. If anybody kind of, I don't know, I'll speculate a little more on where I think Michigan's going to be at, whether we can come back, whether we can fight the good fight here, next election cycle, turn things around. That would be awesome. But with good people, not just a rhino, okay? Now, rhino, I'm going to talk about the minority leader, the most powerful Republican in the Michigan House of Representatives, Matt Hall. He voted for gun control. Basically paved the way and allowed, if you will, other rhinos to turn coat with him. That doesn't get us too far ahead. But I want to see how engaged people are actually for the Second Amendment in Michigan. How much they're going to get behind 2A defending reps. Like Representative Phil Green, my friend that's the head of the Second Amendment caucus of the House. My state representative and very good friend, Jamie Thompson. You saw the video of me teaching my rep how to shoot on here just a couple weeks ago. My friend and 2A defender, Jamie Green. Yeah, there's 2 Greens and 2 Jamies. Well, there's a third Jamie, but that's Jamie Churches. And if you live in her district, geez, need to make sure that she loses the election. Get out and vote against her. People like Michigan State Representative Rochelle Smith and Angela Regis, and there's many others who have stellar voting records. Representative Maddock. I mean, I could go on and on. Cara. I shouldn't start dropping names because I'm going to forget somebody who might be watching my channel right now, but there are good ones out there. So we need to see Representative Bob Bazat, who's a good friend of mine. He's been a key 2A defender for a long time. Well, not a long time. Jeez, time flies, but it goes by slow too. This is just his second term, but it seemed, well, he's been into politics a long time, being the sheriff and the county commissioner before that. But this is his second term in the Michigan House. I don't know. I'll know more. I'll talk about it more. If there's 100 people at this rally or if there's 1,000 people at the rally. Whoa, what's this? Wow. QD just came in huge. Thank you, man. Wow, that's bigly. I'm looking over here on my other screen. It says QD gifted 50. Does that say 50? Hold on. Wow, 50. 2A EDU memberships. Thanks so much, dude. That's a very generous financial support. And hey, I thank you very sincerely. I appreciate you. I'm not giving up. I just don't want to like drive all my viewers in the ground or all my viewers give up, because people have been telling me, they like, dude, if we hear about one more gun control, we are literally going to like not only just unsub, which I'm not a numbers guy. That's not the problem. But they're like, I'm just going to not watch even any more videos on the Second Amendment at all. I'm just done with all of it. It's like, geez, oh, Pete, is that where people are at? And I guess. And I guess I understand why. I'm not tapping out, though. I'm not tapping out. I'm just saying people are kind of telling me, like, dude, We're tapped. We're cooked. $50 more people. I'll tell you what. He said, what, 50 trillion? Jeez, oh, Pete. Man. You send me 50 trillion. You send me 50 trillion memberships at QD. I'll just go over and buy that Zastava factory, and I'll start. You know what I'm saying? I'll open the export back up. I think he typed 50 trillion. Good point. 2A is absolute. Tim says if they do, they never cared before. I hear you, man. I hear you. Look, when they gift the memberships, guys, he doesn't get the pick, just so you know. It's not how it works. It'd be cool if it did. It's when somebody buys gifted memberships, you guys know who picks at the end of the day, right? She's not the CEO anymore, but she still works at YouTube just to watch this channel. Susan Wiki. Shout out to Susan. Susan can confirm, okay, that she picks who gets the members. So if somebody gifts, I don't know, 5 memberships or 50 or 50 trillion, I'll buy this Zastava factory if anyone's got it in their petty cash or their checking account, you know. Anyone got 50 trillion disposable income, I'll go buy the Zastava factory. Right? Now, they it gives them out at random, guys. So all of you that just got gifted channel memberships, you literally have access to half a dozen more videos that I put out in the last couple weeks. Maybe you'll enjoy them, maybe you won't. They're like kind of like hanging out at the shop stuff and not really Second Amendment related at all that I can think of. Just extra stuff, right? But yeah, thank QD if anything, because you'll get that extra content. And I sincerely thank you, man. I really, really do. You've not only been a good financial supporter of the channel, which is awesome because there's logistics and it's really hard sometimes to make ends meet with all the demonetization, but I actually consider you a friend and we've hung out even outside of YouTube. So that's how I know that we are actually true friends and I appreciate you, man. But yeah, don't anybody get mad at QD or anybody else, whether it's him or C&T Designs and Arms has been known to give some memberships. They're not leaving any of you guys out. They have no pick on who gets them whatsoever. Hold on a minute. Wait, there's more. And I can't pin these to the screen, guys. I want to so bad. I have to have an extra thing open just due to Susan won't send them over to StreamYard, which is what I use to stream from. So I can't pin these to any of the gifted stuff to the screen, but 2A is absolute. Tim just came in big time and gifted 5 2A EDU channel memberships. Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate it, man. And I'm sure that, like, I think almost everybody might be channel members here pretty soon. Hold on a minute. Are you kidding me right now? Literally all I can read on this screen. Hold on a minute. Keep your chin up, guys. Keep your chin up. I'm not giving up. I don't want you guys to give up. I'm going to have plenty of gun reviews coming soon. We got to spread culture. We got to win this culture war. I'm trying. I'm out there shooting with my state rep. I'm trying to have fun. We had a blast. She's eager to do follow-up videos. I have more video footage with her I'm going to release. Like, I'm trying, guys. Just help keep me motivated, and I'll help try to keep all of you motivated because it's so crappy in so many ways. But we still have a lot of stuff to look forward to. Right, Ting Ting? What's happening, Ting Ting? Let's see here. Wait, what's this? So QD came in huge. Tim just came in after that. And something else just popped up on my screen. Hold on a minute. Dude, there's no way. It's hard for me. Linda usually helps me pin this stuff, but she can't because of a technical thing with YouTube. Did QD just give 50 more memberships? Dude, QD just gifted 50 more memberships. So between QD and Tim, we've got 105 new members so far tonight. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you, dude. And now if there's more members, I'm going to be more motivated to be putting out more of that supporters content. Thanks, man. Wow. As you guys see the chat right now, it's going. QD again. Hold on a minute. We can pin this one, Linda. Hold on. QD with a super generous super chat. Thanks, man. Dude, thank you so much. He says, F Susie. Oh, boy. Susan Wiki. If you guys are new to the channel, I don't want you to feel left out. Just ask the chat. Please fill in any guys that are new to the channel. And welcome if you're new, by the way. She's called Susan Wiki. She almost left YouTube. Then she said, hold on a minute. I'm going to miss 2A EDU too much. So she's still here, demonetizing, restricting as much as she can. And she's the one that doles out the memberships. Thanks, QD. And another one from QD. Jeez, oh, Pete's, dude. He says, winning hearts and minds with a $20 super chat. And I don't want to leave this out. He's also a channel member. Well, obviously. He just gifted. Well, I see 100 so far. Wow. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying. It's a fine line. I don't want anyone to think I'm ever here to depress anybody. I'm not. It's like, guys, we have to talk about this stuff. Like a republic, if we can keep it. Like Benjamin Franklin said when he was asked by a woman, sir, do we have a monarchy or a republic? He said a republic, if you can keep it. And that means me and you and all of us. And I just want to say, guys, look, if there was even one gun control law, it couldn't be allowed in a country whose constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, says shall not be infringed. I mean, if we even had one gun control law, it would be completely and utterly pathetic. And I believe that's what good is. And I still believe in that. And I still want that. Meanwhile, I'm only one of many, many channels. And I probably don't even make a lot of your top 10 that you like or watch. And I get it. Like 50 channels a day are putting out, the sky's falling. The sky's falling again. The sky's even falling more and more and more. And I don't ever knock people's artistic interpretation. And that's all good by me, whatever. But like, the sky's black and it's the Supreme Court and there's like thunder and lightning bolts and like some of this stuff gets kind of dark once in a while, like on their thumbnails. And after a while, people are just like, oh my gosh, I tap out. Now, part of that is, dude, if you're a true fighter, you wouldn't tap out, but I'm never here to fearmonger, guys. I'm never here to try to get you mad. But look, you guys have to be in good health. And what I mean by health right now is mental health. And mental health is very real. Don't let yourself get in such a state of despair where you're completely useless. You have to stay strong. And you all need to know your own limits. Some people are like, dude, just give me more of it. I get stronger the more doom and gloom there is. Other people are kind of like, if I hear one more doom and gloom or see one more thumbnail where like, it literally shows like a nuclear bomb going off on the Supreme Court or something like that. They're like, dude, I'm done. And I don't want to be that guy. And that's not my intention. But dang it, I'm not just going to sit there and be a pushover and give up either. But it's hard. Like when DLD earlier is like, did you hear what just happened in Minnesota? I care about Minnesota a lot. I immensely care about all of you in Minnesota. Jeez, oh, Pete's, do I? I wasn't even able to keep track of that because I'm keeping track of this new stuff that's brewing in Michigan. There's more coming in Michigan soon, by the way. It's brewing. And I do not, yeah, I'll just say I know things. I'll just leave it at that because the other side watches these and I don't want them to know how much I know. But there's more brewing there. There's this Zastava crap. It's just like, yeah. Not that I give up. It's just I only have so many hours in the day. It's like, dude, the great state of Minnesota. Do you know how many awesome people probably live there right now that are watching this? I care. It's just I only have so many hours in the day. It's crazy. Let me just take a quick look at the chat here. Wait a minute. What's this? Oh, I got to confirm this earlier. I just saw more channel memberships. Hold on a minute. Hold on. 50 from QD. Tim dropping the 5 spot. I appreciate all of you guys, by the way. If it's $1, if it's a penny, it all helps a lot more than you know. QD gifted another 50 memberships, guys. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. 155 new people are channel members tonight. Make sure you guys check out that extra content I put up. It's just for fun. You might like it. You might not. I don't know. DJ Lunch Meat, thank you. It says been a long time subscriber. Well, awesome, dude. Randy Smith said those other videos were good. Awesome. Cool. 2A is absolute. Dude, you did awesome, man. Buy your ammo, dude. Trust me. QD does what he does. It's not all about QD, and I know him well enough to say this. He never wants this to be about him. He ain't that type of guy at all. He wants to support the channel, and trust me, dude, I appreciate you, Tim, just as much as anybody else on here. Thank you, man. Do what you can. If you guys do what you can, leave me encouraging comments. It all helps. It all adds up in so many ways. QD says I'm just having a good time watching you. You be you. Rep the 2A. Be you. Nothing but love. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. I'm just trying to. Well, told you guys this before. I'm not a good actor, so I'll be me, I guess, whether anybody likes it or not. If you like it, awesome. Let's call it a win-win. Right, Mateo? Yeah, man. Sean Zimmerman saying, thanks for donations. It makes this community. I want to help, but I'm disabled. Man, take care of yourself, dude. I'm fighting like hell to try to scrimp by, and a lot of us are. He says, would like to buy a Zastava M70 before we can't get anymore. Look, dude, I hope it's fine in 30 days. Everything I discussed earlier tonight is all just my suspicions. I brought Fast and Furious into the mix, the Chinese band. I mean, all kinds of stuff in my head. This is conversation, okay? This is just a local town square where I'd love all of you to be able to go out there behind my old F-350 and fire up a bonfire and just talk. And we can't do that, so this is what we have to do, you know. But that's kind of how this is, hanging out, thinking about things. As far as the official news on the Serbia stuff, I think I did a pretty darn good job accurately reporting it on Thursday, and then the reports on today, Friday. That was me reporting. There's nothing been reported that all of this other stuff I said, but I mean, it was reported for sure that the U.S. has sanctioned one of their top people, and like everything that I said was reported was. I just don't want you guys to be all like, dude, like, how could you possibly know some of this stuff? Well, of course I couldn't possibly know it, but there's context clues. Something don't smell right. But I hope after 30 days, the Zastava stuff pours back in the country. This Belom ammo, I love. Really good stuff. PPU ammo. Isn't it ironic? I was just holding this up a couple weeks ago. Joking with you guys, messing around with you that I had 7.63 Mauser. Totally joking, like, look at me, guys. I'm like, clearly, look, you know, I'm tougher than all of you. I shoot the most powerful handgun cartridge. Do you remember that? Totally trying to have a good time, and little did I know I'd be holding up possible Holy Grail. Look, the initial reports that I reported on yesterday, Thursday, said arms and ammunition, which would be banned. Now we find out it's for 30 days, possibly more, hopefully not, possibly forever, hopefully not. Today, most of the reports just said arms, but is that just journalists not really understanding the difference between arms and ammo? Is it just arms and not ammo? I don't know for sure. But it's been reported both in the United States as well as Serbia that the arms, which I think legally in this country, ammo falls under arms. I don't know if it falls under arms there, but I would say probably, especially with all the reporting that was done Thursday where it said it was inevitable, definitely included the words arms and ammunition. So probably for at least 30 days. Gosh, I'm knocking on wood, guys. You can hear it, but it's down below here. I'm knocking on wood. And I hope it's just for 30 days. Because I really like PPU ammo, and this Belom ammo is good stuff. Those of you that have been on my locals a long time, some of you guys know about this. I posted some tremendous deals over there. I wish so bad I could post it here, guys. I just can't do it. I cannot do it. They'll not only get rid of this stream, but they'll ban the whole channel if I did direct links to some of these places here. Let me take a look here at the chat. Am I going to brunch in Grand Haven with Kyle Rittenhouse? I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to be. I need to get a hold of John again and text him, or actually, I just need to read my old message that he texted me before. I think I'm going to be speaking around noon, so I might be speaking at the rally during that. I don't know for sure. Hold on a minute. Are you still on here, Linda? QD said, tell Kyle I said hi. Yeah, if I get the opportunity to talk to him, I will. It's a free rally, guys. All the information's on my Facebook page and here on YouTube. The flyer's here on YouTube. If you go to my Facebook page, I actually shared the event itself so you can interact more with it, whatever your preference is there. I know some of you have already said too many sites to go to. I don't know if you guys are on Facebook or not. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do post there because, again, just trying to keep more people engaged with the Second Amendment as possible. And that's where a lot of the local politicians are, is over there. So that's a way you can engage with your public servants and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? But yeah, it's a free rally, free parking. There is a VIP opportunity to buy what's called VIP tickets. If you guys want to do that, look, I'm not the one hosting the rally. I'm just going there. They're not paying me to speak there. I'm going there absolutely free. I go there anyways. I'm actually nervous as heck that I'm going to get stage fright because I don't speak in front of crowds. So I don't know what'll happen. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest. But I'm just going there like I would have anyways. And they asked me if I'd speak. And I said, well, if it helps out, I will. So I'm going to. But they do have a VIP ticket that can be purchased where you get dinner with and like meet and greet opportunity with photos and stuff with some of the, I guess you consider them more celebrity guests, right? I don't know. Don't gray list yourself, QD. Jeez, oh Pete's, man. Don't gray list. Don't get yourself in trouble, dude. I really appreciate you, man, but don't get... All right, hold on a minute. Wait, what? Did QD just get 50 more? There's no way. Thank you so much, dude. I'm over here on this other screen, and I think QD just gifted 50 more memberships. Wait, Linda says 100 more. Hold on. Wow. QD has just gifted 100 more super chats. Or, I'm sorry, not super chats, channel member gifts. Thank you so much, dude. Dude, you're gonna have like Susan at your house within minutes, dude. Like, we're gonna need to get a policy together to head over to QD's. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it, dude. More gifts than watchers. Is that true? QD says I don't exist. You need a wingman. I had somebody with me at the PSA gathering event wearing a Blackwater shirt. Jane Locke, what do you know about Blackwater? Are you still here, Jane? I said Blackwater. Jane just went, She might. I don't want to say too much. Pillbox Bunker throwing me some advice. I know how to say your name, man. Pillbox Bunker. Okay. Who's my good friend, said just look at your phone and think you're doing a stream. You'll do great. Is that what I need to do? Stream it. Hold on a minute. So when I'm up there on the stage, they asked me to speak for 7 minutes. So I don't know. I'll put my phone up there on a tripod, right? And start a live stream, and then I'll just talk to you guys, and I'll feel like I'm just sitting in my shop, and there'll be X amount of people that will be there live. But that might be rude to the live audience if I've got a phone like in between me, and I don't know. There might be a way I could do that. But then they could probably play copyrighted music, and then Susan would, as I call, wiki the whole stream anyways. Look, Susan wiki isn't just a noun. It's a proper noun. But it's not just a proper noun. Susan wiki is actually a verb. Don't believe me? Ask Mateo. I've told him. Dang it. And this happened on last stream too. I told you guys it would happen. I was talking on locals. I can't remember the exact number, but it was in the pennies. I'm like, all right. I brought in like 90-something cents on this stream. But that's if they don't get it further. And then I'm like, oh, the stream just got wikied, which is called restricted. So trust me, demonetized, restricted in many other ways. It's not just a noun and a proper noun, but it's actually a verb for your video or stream to get wikied. Now that's bad. That's bad when your name becomes a verb, isn't it? Let's face it. There we go, Jane Locke. 11 armored Lincoln town cars that were sent to Baghdad. That's pretty cool. Wait, what's this? Is this right? I guess it would be. Jeez, oh, Pete, it's DB Cooper. What's happening, man? Says QD is gifted 250 memberships. Wow. Tonight? Hold on a minute. Is that right, Linda? Wow. QD has gifted 250 channel memberships. I'm so humble, dude. Thank you so much, man. I know you're getting tired of me saying thank you because I know you well enough. You're just like, nah, dude. Like, shut up. Stop doing that. I know. I can't help it, though. I'm just being me, and you know me. Ron Stacy says you should get QD a VIP at the event. I don't know if I have enough pull to do that or if I'll get one. And he might have a little bit longer drive than he'd like to take. But QD knows how to get a hold of me. If he were to just happen to be there this Wednesday, like he just happens to randomly like parachute out of some unknown like black helicopter or just random stuff like that, you know, that just normal stuff, then I would definitely give him my VIP ticket if I have one. But that's if I have one, because I don't know if I'm considered VIP or not. Like they had said something along the lines of that, like that the people can meet and greet with me as part of the VIP thing, but that does not imply that means that I get a VIP ticket to actually go into the VIP tent. So I have no idea if that made any sense. VIP meet and greet with the speakers. I walk up, they might be like, dude, you're not VIP enough to be with the regular speakers. I have no clue. I'm famous in a small town, but like I'm talking like the town I live in is like super, super small. And then the town where my shop's in is also like super, super small. You get me out of a small town, not so much. Well, and I'm famous in Europe too. That's what everybody says, right? You might not know who I am. I'm not only famous in a small town, but I'm also famous in Europe. Shout out to any Europeans watching, but that's kind of an old. I remember that years ago watching Baywatch reruns when my grandma was still alive. I remember watching it when it was actually like currently airing too with her. Years later, I'm like, watching a Baywatch rerun with my grandma, and I'm like, David Hasselhoff, geez, whatever happened to him? She's like, don't you know? He's still big in Europe, right? That's the old saying. Shout out to channel moderator bot, supporting the channel here. Oh, hold on. Let me come over here real quick. I thought I saw some super chats, Linda. Can you catch me up on those? Okay, here we go. QD with another super chat. Thanks so much, man. Looks like he's calling out his boy here. He says John Crump, question mark. I don't know. That's all it says. Just John Crump, question mark. Maybe he's wanting to go to the rally with John Crump. I don't know. Maybe it's a friendly challenge. Thank you for the super chat. Ron Wayne with the super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. And a channel member, longtime channel member and supporter. He says, great channel member content and vocals rocks. Well, I appreciate you, man. And you've been a supporter of the channel for a long time. And I can't help but notice that I have to catch up on a couple of your channel member videos that I have seen the alerts for. I've just not got a chance to watch the last couple because, dude, it doesn't rain for a month. Now it rains every day, and I'm kind of struggling behind on stuff. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. I like to be behind when I'm just like working a lot, making some money, buying some guns. It sucks when you're behind because it's just like raining a lot because you're not working and also not having fun. Earlier, we were going to cut a lawn that's in the middle of a big soybean field. In fact, so you guys definitely that are supporters either have seen this or can see it. Some behind the scenes at the private range I shoot at, right? You can see the range part, and then there's like a creek, river, ravine. Then on the other side of that, you can just see like yonder, like soybean fields yonder, and it's like as far as you can see, all fields. Like your vision runs out before you see anything but fields and like wood lines. So not in that direction, but the other way, the opposite of the way I think I was shooting that video. There's a property back there that's adjacent to that I cut. And yeah, like the entrance to get to it, it's like a lawn. It's actually like a private little model airplane club field is what it actually is. And that's one of my accounts to cut. And as the crow flies, it's like 600 yards from the other one that I cut where my range is. But the way you have to do it with driving on the properties and the roads, you have to drive like a half a mile to go 600 yards, if that makes sense. But anyways, and there was like this big, like more than a mud puddle. It was like 2 foot deep, 6 foot wide. I'm in my 2000 F350. Okay. 7.3 power stroke. Awesome engine, beast of a motor, but it's 2-wheel drive and it's dually. Dually will get stuck easier almost, and 2-wheel drive trucks are crap in the butt, and I'm pulling a trailer. So, oh boy, I had to come through and give her gas on the dirt road before I came up to it, and I just had to hit that thing going like 20 miles an hour, and I knew I needed the momentum to get through. Like literally. Bum, 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 da, 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 da. You guys remember that show, right? And boom, rearview mirror fell off, hit me in the head, came down. Everything's falling out of the center console. Jeez, oh, Pete. That was so I didn't get stuck. And then once I got through the low spot, I got back up on the high ground again. And the sun had been out for like no more than an hour and already dried the top of that up. And there's just like this little like 2-track trail to get to the property that I cut. And then it's soybean fields all around. Plowed field is the last thing you want to be driving through. So I had to stay right on this little thing and just head hits the ceiling, rear view mirror comes off. You know what I'm talking about. At least some of you know what I'm talking about. You guys that don't know what I'm talking about, you don't want to know because it's not fun. But I did get that long cut today. That was the moral of that long story. It looks like Cutie had also left a $50 super sticker. Thanks, man. Jeez, oh, Pete. Wow. Thank you. I really appreciate it, dude. Let me go back over here. All right. It's crazy fun, Jason Maseko said. I don't know about that. Oh. They say just picture everyone in their underwear when you're speaking and you will do fine, LOL. But so I just like laugh at everybody? I get up on stage and go, I don't know. Don't know what a super sticker was. Well, you left one right here and stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can't post the sticker here, but the people in the chat got to see what the sticker actually was. There's a whole bunch of different stickers. Brown Wayne said, "You're good. It'll be waiting for you." Oh, yeah. I keep a queue of stuff. Kind of gives me something to look forward to. What's up, Misty, Mrs. Wayne? See you in here. Harry Grimley. What's happening? Harry, how you doing? Barney Brady. What's up, Barney? Ron Stacy, more rain the next few days. What's up, Ron? Yeah, I know. I know. Trust me. Tomorrow? Yeah. More rain. Still trying to work on the car. Still trying to finish some lawns. Yeah, it takes a while to cut anything. What's up, Zach? Giving the thumbs up emoji. Bill Alexander, how you doing? Lucky Dog 350X. Tim Blake. We have Dale in the house. What's up, Dale? What are we at for the super chat gifts tonight between Tim and QD? Linda, if you could real quick before you tap out and go to bed. I'm gonna have to tap out in just a minute here. Yeah, very generous. $305 gifts. Wow. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. What's up, Gort? Jason says 420. Maybe you're adding the super chats in with it. I don't know. I'm not sure. You're welcome, Harry. Glad you're doing good, man. Jason has some training tomorrow. Should be good in the rain. Some of you guys are still shooting. You told me. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. I really am. A lot of people like around town here are just saying stuff like, dude, if it's this darn stressful to own a gun, or I just don't even want it anymore. And I'm like, try to talk them out of it, right? Someone also recently, this is a little more disturbing, said, if the Second Amendment's this stressful, I don't want that either. And I'm like, oh, they're going to win then. That's what they want. Yeah, there better not be any more of that funky Canada smoke, so-called Canada smoke coming. Oh, that had me miserable and sick for a week. That's not normal smoke, is it, Jane? Chime in, guys, if you've had some of the good old Canada, so-called Canada smoke. I know some of you guys have probably gotten it even a lot worse than we did in Michigan, but man, that crap, that ain't natural smoke. It's like not even normal at all. It's like really, really weird stuff. I don't know. Definitely say don't want this to be the conspiracy theory channel, but that smoke's got me awfully suspicious. You know that? That smoke's got me very, very suspicious. What it means that QD gifted you a membership is he's been very generous tonight to a Absolute Tim and many others with the super chats. They've gifted membership. So basically, look, if you guys buy a channel membership, if anyone buys one, it goes and it's a way that you can financially support the channel. When somebody buys a gifted membership, they still pay the price for it, right? So the money comes into the channel as a donation to help keep the wheels turning, grease the old axles, right? And then, but like they can only buy one for themselves. So if they want to be more generous to the channel and also hook up you guys, or maybe their primary focus is to hook you guys up and then also be generous with the channel. It could go either way. They send what's called gifts. Now that means you're a channel member for 1 month. And I do extra posts and extra videos that I've given access to the channel members. So you can enjoy that content, and you can use unique emojis. So all of you guys that just got done becoming members, now if you go to access emojis, which let me see, I usually don't use it, just hit your little emoji button there. You're going to see 4 unique 2A EDU ones. And since we have so many members now, I need to actually add more to it so you guys can have more cool custom emojis, right? In PA, it's pretty bad. It was formaldehyde. Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah, there's something that's not right. Kind of their smoke and mirrors, as Pillbox says. Now, at the end of the month, your membership's going to expire, and then you won't be a member anymore. Unless, of course, some of you guys can find it in your heart to, you can re-up on your own and keep the benefits, and then you get the star next to your name, depending on how long you've been a member, depends what color it is. And yeah, I try to give you guys some extra content and extra chances at stuff and whatnot. I try to do what I can. Just keep in mind, I do not do this channel full time. I think I've made that very, very clear. There's many that are fortunate enough, and that's awesome that they make a living doing YouTube. I ain't that guy. But you guys being so generous does help keep the channel going, because not making a lot of money personally right now. So that's awesome that you guys can keep this thing funded the best you can. Somebody said something like, it means you're a cool kid now. Who said that? Taco Syndicate. Geez, that was funny. I laughed at that. Yeah, they've given up on cloud seeding now. Did you guys see that, though? Right around the time all this smoke's hitting me in Michigan, the former vice president gets on there, and he was trying to talk about or promote or float, at the very least, some idea about us basically making clouds or smoke, in essence, to block the sun, to keep us from burning into a fiery inferno of global warming unless we fully implement the Green New Deal and stuff. I'm thinking, you're going to try to take my vehicles off the road that aren't worth crap and can't afford anything better. You're going to try to take all my vehicles for work and for personal off the road for this new Green Deal and this battery car. Oh, the wind's not blowing. No car or stream for you, or no computer, nothing. The sun didn't shine enough. Just think about this for a second. The same ones that are like, we need everything to be solar. But now at the same time, if you guys don't believe me, look it up. He literally got on for a press conference or whatever you want to call it on national TV and said they were talking about putting these, it was like clouds or some kind of vapor or something up to block the sun. These are the same ones that must think you're a moron. And they're trying to convince you that while they're blocking the sun, that you need to support the new Green Deal, World Economic Order, all of that. Empower yourself with solar. Now, hold on a minute. Get rid of your combustible engines. We're going to block the sun, but convince you that you're going to rely on solar. But you can rely on windmills, and then we'll just mess with the trade winds. I mean, So right as all this smoke's going, he's like, yeah, maybe we could just block the sun and stuff. Let's just do that. I'm like, I thought you said solar panels were the only thing to save me. You're going to block the sun? You guys remember California? Everyone has to have an electric car. Can't even have a gas weed whacker, gas lawnmower. Not even a gas generator. Yeah, how do you generate with that? That's an oxymoron in and of itself. But I digress. And then they said so you can't have gas, but you can't plug your electric cars in because there's a brownout and stuff. Think about it. But that's what I thought about. Right as the smoke was the worst, and I couldn't even see, like, all the way down, like, the field of view, like, down the road. And it's this smoke. And then I look up, and I'm like, that's the former vice president giving a press conference. Oh, geez, speak of the devil, he's talking about some project to block the sun. All right, I can tell I'm thoroughly boring you guys, but if you're bored, look it up. I'm not joking. What's happening, Threaded, for my pleasure? Nice to see you, man. He said, please explain the smoke. I have had sinus issues never before in my life. Dude, I was out and out sick for a week there, and I still haven't gotten back to normal. Like, there's still like this weird. This smoke's not natural, in my opinion. There's something really weird going on with it. And Jane said that she heard that the smoke's coming back again. And for some of you guys throughout other parts of the country, yeah, I know some of you have had it even worse than Michigan. So I don't know what to say. Don't get me started on what it is. I could probably go all night. It ain't right. It ain't natural. Something's weird, dude. So no, it's not just you, Threaded. Probably not just me. If the plague didn't get us, if the Kung flu didn't get us, then, well, the smoke will, or something, or whatever it is. I'll just say whatever it is. I don't even think I want to know. Crazy Heathen was in here earlier, I think. If he's still here, what's happening, man? I think I saw him earlier out of the corner of my eye. I'll go back and rewatch the chat afterwards, like I normally do. Jeez, oh, Pete. Hopefully we've gotten all of our shots. I don't know about that. I don't think so. I don't know what people have done. That's between them and their doctor, but yeah. I like to shoot guns a lot. Any other shots? Don't do those. That's what somebody said. Can't pronounce their name. I think they're being very sarcastic. And also can't pronounce their name. Oh, geez, smoke's going to be bad in Minnesota for the weekend. Jeez, oh, Pete. That sucks. Wow. All right, I just had another. Hold on a minute. What's this? Is this another super chat? QD with another super chat. Thanks, dude. Man, don't get yourself in trouble, dude. I know Wiki's going to be like, these are some serious, just so you guys know. I'm going to say it one more time. This is not only a proper noun, but it's also a verb. It's wiki, but it's also you can get wikied, if you know what I mean. Thanks for another super generous super chat, QD. I really appreciate you, man. He says the polar vortex and night jet are out of whack because of cloud seeding. Go figure. Also, they may have lit all those Canuck fires at the same time. I did hear about that. That's the thing. I don't know. I'll tell you what, whatever the mainstream media report is, that's probably what I won't believe. I'll just say that. But anything else? But I just know it. It just ain't quite right. I know a few of you guys are chiming in the same type of thing. You're like, dude, it ain't right. Horsepower Greed, what's happening? Says many people in my area of Ohio have had the worst trouble with internet service lately. See? They mess with the vortex and the jet streams and all this and the night jet, and then we're talking like black helicopters. I don't know. Canada's sending all the wild boars out with the smoke. Are there boars like that up in Canada too? I guess there would be. Jason saying real Americans aren't going to take any fake jab, we'll just say. All right, Heathen had to go earlier. All right, I'll catch up to him. I'll be seeing him around soon. All right, guys, I think I am out of here. El Nino? Well, that could be. Did I just hear thunder? Either there's black helicopters here, because we're both going to get wikied tonight, QD, or there was thunder out there. One of the two. If something happened and I just heard like my whole like parking lot and half the building shake. Thank you for all of you who were so generous tonight. Thank you, QD, for being super generous tonight. All of you guys that are now supporters of the channel for the month, go check out some of that extra content that I made. And also make sure you guys check out my locals community. I'll be streaming there tomorrow night. And I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I couldn't care less. But if you are looking for Zastava or any other things, I do have some posts over there that'll help hook you up and make it a win-win where you can help yourself and also help out the channel at the same time. I'll be back on here, I'm sure, in the meantime. But again, if you guys don't want to miss me too much, I'll be streaming live on locals. Link is in the description and will also be in the pinned comment when it's over. All right, take care, guys. Good chat tonight. I appreciate all of you being here. Good night, G23. Nice to see you, dude. Johnny Propane, take care. Jane Locke, take it easy. Didn't hear any thunder, and she's only a few miles away. All right, I have to go out and take care of black helicopters and operators and Wiki and whatever is I can still hear out there doing something. So don't worry. I'm extremely tough because I have Lamy, guys. All right, I'm out of here. See you in Gitmo, QD said. All right. Thanks for watching and have a good one. Susan Wiki, have a good one.